All right. We're talking this week about God overturning in our lives, in the world, in Scripture. We have one final example from the book of Revelation. Oh, yeah. God does a lot of overturning Revelation. We've been hinting at it all week, right? God overturning all of creation in the end. Chapter 21, verses 1 through 6. A new heaven and a new earth. Boy, that sounds like overturning, doesn't it? The old heaven and earth are overturned for the new one. I read. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first earth and the first heaven had passed away, or had been overturned. Where was I? And the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven, prepared as partners adorned for each other. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, "See, the home of God is among mortals. God will dwell with them, and they will be God's people. God will be with them. God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away." And the one who is seated on the throne said, "See, I am making all things new." "Also," God said, "write this, for these words are trustworthy and true." Then he said to me, "It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water as a gift from the spring of the water of life." We actually talked about this passage in Adult Forum, or Christian Education Adults, a couple weeks ago too, if it's ringing a bell right now. Why did I hear that recently? It's been nice. We've been kind of on the same wavelength this Lent. It's been good. Anyway, so talk about hope with Lent. This is the overturning we're hoping for. A world, come on, with no more tears and death and pain. For they've passed away. They've been overturned. "See, I'm making all things new." Is that not what's happening in this COVID crisis? God overturning COVID into a new life post-COVID. "See, I'm making all things new." The world's going to look different post-COVID. The church already does. A lot of the world looks already different, and it'll continue to. This new heaven and a new earth, right? It's not that God's going to recycle the old one. It's going to be a brand new one that's even better, that's made right with how the universe should be. No more death, no more pain. Imagine such a place. With the thirsty, we heard earlier, like the thirsty in the streets. It was in Lamentations on Wednesday. The world is not taking care of those in need. God gives the thirsty water from the river, the water of life. God is the opposite of what the world does, for the better. As a gift, right? Not that we've earned it. God really gives it out of grace. This is part of God's ultimate overturning in the end, the overturning we hope for. And God brings this kind of new life, deliverance from pain and death and new life all the time in our lives too. So, again, we've talked about a lot of overturning, corrupt systems, the world, creation, our lives, the micro, the macro, everything in between. God, one of God's tenets, one of God's ways that God works, that we can understand some of, is overturning. So, my friends, I invite you to join us in overturning the systems in our world that need reform. I invite you to overturn and seek to keep our baptismal promise to seek justice in all of the world. Have a good weekend.